Gang, guys, we in the building. Swaggy C is here, Austin's behind the camera. You guys already know what time it is. This video doesn't really need any introduction, but I'm gonna give a slight one just in case. If you missed the last episode of Secure the Swag, I went to TJ Millionaire Mentors, big compound mansion in Beverly Hills. And if you don't know who he is, he's a big car enthusiast. He just had a $40 or $50 million exit selling one of his tech companies, and he does a lot of good things, But right here, we had a very good 30-minute interview talking about entrepreneurship, giving you guys good advice on what you guys should do, whether starting a business or chasing your dreams and your goals. Like, it's a full-on interview, so I implore each and every one of you to watch the interview in its entirety. Make sure you subscribe below, and make sure if you find any type of value from this video, even if it's just one, give it a thumbs up, like the video, and that's pretty much it, Austin, right? Without further ado, enjoy. And the thing with me is, like, you have to be accredited. Like, people will try to do what my business does, but they're not traders at all, they're not investors at all, where it's like, people can check my background, my platform, broker statements, and I actually do trade, and then people can verify that, and then now I have a business that teaches people how to do it, and that's what solidifies it. That cinematics that me and Austin put out, and it verifies it all. Gang, we in the building.
I'm gonna put this away.
Oh, you can do whatever you want, my man. Do whatever you want, my man. The Swag Academy, we are in the building. I'm your host, Swaggy C, as usual, but you already know that. I got a special guest in the building, TJ Millionaire Mentor.
Yeah,
What's going on, man? How you feeling? Yo, so I have my man TJ in the building, and I met him about 6 months ago, and he's giving me some keen advice on, scaling my business. TJ, you can explain it better than me, but you've created businesses, you've had exit deals worth 40, 50, 60 million dollars. I may be undermining that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So talk to the people and let them know what you do now before, I start asking you some questions and taking some wisdom from you.
Yeah, appreciate that. So, TJ Millionaire Mentor, I help people grow and expand their business. So my focus is young entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs that are growing their business, just starting, people generally under about $5 million a year in terms of their business. So for me, I've built a lot of different businesses. So tech services is a business that I just exited in February. So I sold that business. I grew that to just about $50 million in sales, and I sold that business. I've owned a hotel, owned a restaurant, owned mobile detail car wash business.
A lot to ask you about. I should bring those up.
Yeah, I've done commercial construction, like stuff that we've done, design build stuff in hospitals and things like that. So I've done a lot of different things, and I've also done a lot of online marketing stuff, which is where my focus is now, where we've sold a lot of books, where we've gotten like $5 million deals for book publishing and online classes and subscription services and that sort of thing, which is the type of thing that we were talking about last time.
No, that's pretty dope. So, to get right into it, because this is right up your alley. So, seeing as you came out and you just had a multi-million dollar exit just now, and you've created a lot of businesses. What is your advice for the entrepreneur who's starting from zero, from scratch, like who has no money but they have all the ideas in the world? Like, what's your advice to them?
When somebody's starting their business, I have a friend that was like working on a whole business plan, right? You don't need to build out a whole business plan or know the whole business, but you need to know what problem you're solving, who you're solving it for, why you're the best answer, and what your unfair advantage is. So having said that, the best way to do that is to be able to be in a position where you say, everybody needs me, but they just don't know me yet, right? So to identify who everybody is, what that group is, what they need from you, and then spend all of your time trying to find those people.
So essentially, when you're creating a business, you're essentially, no matter if it's a product or a service, you're trying to solve a problem at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course. Do you think everybody can just stop what they're doing right now and be an entrepreneur?
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
No.
You think it's only meant for a select few?
Yes, it's meant for people with vision.
Yeah.
It's meant for people that are self-starters. Like if you need someone to tell you when to punch the clock and what to do, then you're not going to be an entrepreneur.
Word.
If you think working 9 to 5, or then being an entrepreneur is probably not for you, right? So no, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everybody might want to be an entrepreneur, but it also means that you are taking a lot of risk. Right? So whatever your venture is, you believe in it so much that you're willing to do this stuff.
That's a good question.
Until you get the results. And some people aren't willing to do it long enough to get the results.
That's what I say all the time, is that a lot of people fail, one, because they just aren't entrepreneurs, but the majority of them, they just quit. They just quit after, if their idea doesn't work in 2 months or 3 months, they don't have the persistence to go along with it. I read about you as well, where you had said, maybe you didn't say that, but you told the story, where you worked the job from like 3 to 11, but you came in hours early and learned everybody's job and then used that to flip and then start a business that you just exited from. What made you have that type of grind and hustle to always see the end goal? Because I was telling Austin in the car coming here that, like, if I got a job from 3 to 11, not me, because I feel like I'm built different as well, but if I'm the norm, I'm coming in from 3 to 11, going to sleep, coming right back in at 3. I'm not coming in at 10, especially if I'm not getting paid for that extra time. You know what I mean? What made you do that?
Because I never looked at my job as a job. I looked at it as my career, and the job was just the thing giving me the experience. Right, giving me the experience, giving me the relationships. So for me, like, it's funny that people will pay a lot of money for school, education, go to college. They'll pay for that, but they won't work for free, right? They won't invest in themselves to get the education. So for me, it was like, tantamount to educating myself. I'd gone to college and all that sort of stuff. Pretty much, right? But what happened was, I'm working in this place, I'm like, there's all these different departments, they're doing these things. What are they doing in these different departments, right? And I was in IT or tech and that kind of thing. So, and I had learned to code, but I didn't know what they were doing in all these other areas. So for me, because my job was from 3 to 11, what the hell was I gonna do during the daytime? Right, dream about making more money? Go out and, watch TV? So I wasn't gonna do that. That didn't make sense to me. I was going to be productive. And the most productive thing I can do, and anybody can do, is learn skills that nobody can take away from you.
Do you think that asset or that characteristic is taught, or you were born with that? Like the ability to grind and hustle more?
No, I think you can learn it.
Word.
There's some people that have it innately. There's some people that's hungrier than others. And I don't think it's about, like, if you're poor, like for me, I grew up poor, so and I wanted something, because there's a lot of people that were poor with me that didn't do that.
That's factual, 100%.
Right.
Totally understand.
So, and then there's people that are wealthy that, grew up in wealthy families that still had that grind and hustle. I think it's a matter of what you want for yourself. How bad you want it and how bad you want to win. For me, my biggest thing is I could not watch The Cosby Show or Friends or whatever it was. I couldn't do that because or football. Like, sit there and I'm watching football for
3 hours.
Right. And I'm sitting there thinking about it, man, that these dudes are rich. These dudes are rich. And when I grew up, right, like, it was Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders played baseball, he played football, right? And he was amazing. And I remember one time Deion was like, somebody was interviewing him, right? And they were like, they were saying something about the fans, And Deion was like, forget the fans. All the fans can do is sit up in nosebleed and buy my merch, buy my jersey. And when he said that, I was like, you're right. I'm sitting here watching this rich guy. This guy's rich, right? And for 3 hours, I'm gonna give him my time. That didn't make sense to me. So I'm gonna watch a reality show for an hour, right? What can I learn in your business about trading in that amount of time? Or what can I learn in my case, technology in that amount of time? And that's never gonna go away once I learn that.
Of course, ever.
Right, never. So I wasn't gonna do that. So that was the epiphany that I had a long time ago, is that if I take my time and I am, every bit of free time I have, I invest it in me, then I'm gonna win ultimately.
And I love that answer, and I feel like I believe the same way. What do you say to those people who feel like I can learn this, but I can still have my 5 hours of being lazy or procrastinating? Like, there's people out there in the world who be like, damn TJ, damn Swaggy, like, dude, does everything gotta be work? I can go bowling for 3 hours and go do this for 2 hours, you know what I mean? Like, is entrepreneurship just not for them? Do they need to hear the harsh truth? Or they can watch TV for 3 hours and still become one of us?
Most people can't.
Yeah.
Most people can't. There's some people that are lucky that they're so gifted and talented in something. Let's say you're a gifted and talented artist, and you're so gifted and talented in that maybe you don't have to invest and do all that. Maybe you're born 6'11", you know what I mean? Or not born 6'11", but you're born and you become 6'11", and you're athletic. You know, you got huge advantages, right? So there's some people that have huge natural gifts that allow them to get away with stuff. Most of us don't, right? And so what we've been told now, and what we've been told for a long time, is that balance. Balance is the most overrated thing ever. You know, so I think life is a series of sprints. You sprint, you go hard, and then you rest. You know, you take a break. You sprint and you go hard, and then you get to this another place, right? But what people have been taught is balance. I'm going to have the relationship. I'm going to have the downtime. I'm going to have the, I'm going to go out and I'm going to volunteer and do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to build a business at the same time. No, you're not. It's just not going to happen.
It's just not going to work out.
Yeah, name one person that's super balanced that's been uber successful.
Oh, I can't. Like I said, I study entrepreneurs all the time and successful businessmen. And, like I said, my favorite show is Shark Tank, and Kevin O'Leary and Mark Cuban, all of them say the same thing, where it's like, you gotta, even Kobe and LeBron, like relationships and like downtime, you have to sacrifice that if you want to become here.
If you want to get great.
And if everybody is saying the same thing, they can't be wrong. We can't, you know what I mean? We can't listen to a normal person somewhere in a regular neighborhood who's saying, nope, I can do this and that. You haven't done it yet, you know what I mean? So it sucks, because sometimes like I'll try and say that and I'll get painted as like the aggressor or somebody who has no life, but I'm happy, and I know you're happy doing, I'm happy.
Look, bro.
I'm happy.
Look, here's what I say. Chase your potential. To me, there's nothing better than that. There's nothing more fulfilling than you like literally going, here's what I can be, here's what my vision is, and you doing everything you can to achieve it. That's fulfilling, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she was like, are you happy? Or how was your day? Were you happy and joy? I said, I don't know. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I got this vision, and I'm like intense, and it's hot, and I'm trying to make it happen. I'm trying to figure it out, and that is, amazing feeling to me.
Yeah, that's what pushes me. Like, me and Austin are, Brandon, I don't want to keep, singling Austin out, because Brandon just got, came on the team. Me and Austin.
What's up, B?
Yeah, Brandon's over there in the background, you feel me, on the team now, and he just came upon, but me and Austin been doing this for months, and me and Austin get fulfilled when we're chasing that goal, putting something out, like you said, sprint, and then resting. We don't find happy, I mean, some people do, I don't want to fault them, but like, in order to build an empire, we don't find happiness in, let me relax and just, watch TV for 4 hours, and then let me just sleep for 15, and I just don't find happiness in that.
Now, I literally was talking to someone today, and they were talking about their business, right? They were talking about their business, and last time we talked with them, I was talking to them, and we were talking about advertising. And I said, so how's that going, and da-da-da. I said, have you really committed to it, to understand and learn it? And she said, gave me some stuff, and I could tell it was like excuses or not really in it. And then she said, you know what, I just don't like it. I'm like, who cares?
Word.
I didn't ask you if you liked it. This ain't no damn hobby. What the hell? Do you like it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if everybody liked all aspects of what they did in business, everybody would do it. Everybody would be uber wealthy. Word. Do you like it?
Word.
But people have been told that. So right now, one of the big things that people have been told is, do what makes you happy, right? If you're not happy, don't do it. Do something else. And for some people, that might work because they got somebody that's got their back. They got a safety net.
Plan B.
Right. But for other people, you know what? You got to secure the bag. If you don't secure the bag first, you're not going to have a foundation
Correct.
to go off and do this other stuff. So you got to secure the bag. And the way you secure the bag is by building skills that are transferable, by building a career, not just having a job. Make sure whatever job you have is actually a career. Right.
Yeah. This is why, like, you know, like I said, I saw when you said that you worked your job and then you used that to do something else. For me, it's like, I became, you know, a good and a great day trader and an investor, but I didn't have money to fund that if I didn't, like I said, get the foundation and babysit. I had to get money from somewhere. It wasn't gonna come from my dream. I was, you know what I mean? I sucked at it. You had to
It
get.
just look like a babysitter.
Bro, I'm
Man,
telling you.
I would not hire you.
Google me.
I was got 6'4". I look at his tape. He's over there dribbling like, nah, bro.
Bro, how does babysitter in Greenwich? But to kind of change gears a little bit, you have built successful businesses.
Yeah.
There are people who are turned away by failure and they're hinged by it. I'm pretty sure there's probably a business or two that you failed in.
Oh, absolutely.
How did you get over that, and did that never set you apart and be like, all right, maybe this business thing and this route isn't for me?
I never thought about like this business thing isn't for me. For me, you know, I think I've always had confidence that if you can see something, you can build it. And so for me, it's just a matter of saying, okay, I got a vision for this thing. I'm going to build it out. And there's been mistakes, right? Like I built, I call it the $750,000 car wash. I built a car wash mobile detailing business. I had kiosks in the Washington, D.C. area. I had a warehouse with a bunch of mobile trucks. I had people going out and doing all this business, right? And I spent $750,000, didn't make a dime, really, you know? Had lawsuits and everything, because like the signs that you put up, like the realtor signs for the car wash, with the wind would blow, hit somebody's car. You know,
all of that.
You tell somebody how to wash the car, but then they would, you know, spray it on the rag and then do this. They spray it right in it. The guy's Ferrari's not working anymore. You know, so I had all types of issues that caused problems in that. But you take that and you learn, right? And that's why, like, as a coach, it's so much easier for me to look at your business or his business or his business or their business and say, look, here's how you can improve that. Because I've had this experience. I've had failure in that stuff, and I've had things where I said, now if I start something, I can spin that up a lot faster.
I remember you said something to me about 6 months ago where you told me if you had the money you had now, or just the knowledge you have now, going forward, you wouldn't start a new business. You would just acquire a business.
Yeah.
Do you still feel the same way about that now?
Yeah, like if the context for that is if, like right now, I don't want to be an operator. I don't want to run a business. The business that I sold, it took 10 years where I didn't go into an office.
That you didn't go into an office?
Yeah, I didn't go into an office.
Really?
I had a president, I had CFO, you know what I mean, HR. I had those folks, and they were taking care of things. I literally have checks Ubered to me to sign them, right? And I was signing, but I built other businesses. I was building other businesses, but I just got to a point where I didn't like the tech business and what I was doing. I had done it for so long, solving the same problems, hearing the same stories. I didn't like it anymore. I didn't want to be in that business. So I always, the way I look at businesses is I want to blow life into the business so that it runs on its own, right? And I'm not that guy that's like the operator. So what I meant by that is if I was still wanting to be the operator of a conglomerate like that, right, and managing people and doing this stuff, a long time ago, I would have started buying businesses as opposed to building them from startup. And the reason why that's so much easier is because you and I can look at a business and evaluate the business and ask all the pertinent questions about the business, find out why they want to sell the business, find out what the opportunities are, right, to make that business better, right? And then you can go in and buy that business and you can use leverage to buy that business, right? You don't have to, it's like when you buy that business, when people say it's a leverage buyout, people have a misconception of that, right? When people hear leverage buyout, what they're thinking is there's a hostile takeover. People went over and said, let me put all this money on the table, let me give them an offer they can't refuse. And now you gotta go and I'm gonna take over. That's what they're thinking about. But a leverage buyout is just when I'm taking the assets of that business to buy the company, right? Such that I can still service the loan.
Word.
So if that business, just to break this down a little bit further, right? So if I go in, I'm going to buy a business. It's a plumbing business. I wouldn't be buying a plumbing
That's
business.
a fact.
But listen, because I'm not a plumber. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about it. But if someone was going to go out and buy a business that they had knowledge of, they can go out and buy the business actually, they don't have to put any money down.
Mm-hmm.
They can use like something called the 7A program. They can go in and say, I want to buy that business. And they go, it's a tech business, right? So I know a lot about tech, so I qualify as a manager, right? So the bank would look at me and say, yeah, he's qualified.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is look at the accounts receivables for that particular business and how much they got coming in and going to have coming in on an ongoing basis. They want to sell that business for $5 million, right? So the loan amount for that $5 million, if the account receivables that I've got coming in can service that loan and still pay everybody, then I can buy that business with no money down. So buying businesses is the best way to come up if you want to go in and now be the president of that business and operate that business, right? And lead that business. I am not interested in
I was about to ask you, so you would rather make well, I mean, little money to you, but you'd rather make $5 million completely hands-free than 10 or 15 and you had to be there every single day?
For me now?
For you now?
Absolutely.
Yeah. For you physically now.
All day.
That's what I get stuck with.
All day.
Yeah.
Because I started working at 11 years old, basically.
Yeah.
I started working, 14 years old, I had a paper route, 13 or 12 years old, I had a paper route, started working in a restaurant. So I've been working for a long time, And so for me, my lifestyle, right, and my freedom is paramount.
Means everything.
Right, yeah, to be able to work with people that I like, right? And so if I'm working with people and they don't want to be around me, they don't like me, guess what? They're going to go real fast because I work in my home. So the only people I'm going to work around is people that I get along with in life, So when you own a business, like a bigger business, you might have people that are just amazing and they have specialty skills or experience that you might have to deal with, right? Because they have that. I don't want to have to deal with it. That's just where I'm at now. But I also have a lot of passive investments that allow me to be in that situation.
Which I love. And I probably have about maybe three, 4 more questions left for you. You talk about, passive investments and being completely hands-off. I was telling you early on that I feel like my overhead is insane, for what I'm doing right now. Like right now I have about 5 streams of income. I have my personal day trading, which is how I got everything. I have my day trading course. I have my YouTube that pays me. I have t-shirts, all the sponsorships from social media, just all of those 5.
Yep.
And my overhead just on a monthly basis that I feel like there's some things that I'm overpaying that I don't need is around $150, a month. And I was wondering for you, if you're running, a multi-million-dollar business, per month, does that sound like a lot or does that sound normal?
Yeah, well, it depends on it's like the profit margin.
If I'm bringing in around 600, per month with all 5 streams of income.
Then that makes sense to me.
And 150 makes sense?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, because I be trying to think of myself like, all right, like, am I spending too much here? Am I wilding out?
150 makes sense, but it doesn't mean that there's not places that you can cut back. It's a matter of if you're making the kind of profit that you want to make.
Yeah.
And then if you're not, then you can do some things. And then, because you want to make the profit to be able to pay yourself and pay your folks, but also to be able to invest in other ideas.
Yeah, you want to make sure you have a margin.
Yeah, you want to make sure, right? Like there's operating, but then there's developing other business stuff, right? So when you're in business, one of the biggest things that you can do to grow your business that people overlook at your stage is investing in leadership. So you can bring somebody in to do work, you can bring in a manager, but a manager is just going to manage what you've already told them to manage.
Yeah.
When you bring in leadership, they're going to be like, damn, we should be doing this. We should be doing these things. And they obviously overlap in terms of what with some of the stuff that you're doing, but they're seeing things a whole different way and you bring in a whole different, and that changes the game when you invest in leadership.
Which I've heard, and you may give some advice to me on this because I've probably hired, all right, reframe this. How do you know you're hiring the right people? Because I've hired probably 15 people, and I probably fired about 12 of them. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
makes sense, yeah.
Like, is that normal? Because like
You
people come in, they messing up, or it's not that I don't give a grace period, it's that they don't care, they have no passion for what I'm doing, or
You
X, Y,
hire
Z.
slowly, you fire quickly.
Word.
That's
Just simple.
hire slowly, fire quickly. When someone's not performing the way they're supposed to perform, they're not on your team, they're not with you, they don't believe in you, get rid of them.
That's
right.
I give too many chances,
Right.
like, and that slowed up me and Austin the last 4 months. That we fired probably, let's say, 6 people over the last 4 months, and we knew in like week 3 we should have fired them, and we let them rock until month 4, and it slowed us down. There's one kid we just fired 2 weeks ago, and I don't want to say his name or anything, but like that was the only hire we like hired slowly and fired quickly when we knew it wasn't working.
Right.
But
That's
the others, nah, we let it rock for 3,
Right.
4 months. And
And
how do we know that
You
we're making
knew,
the
though.
right decision?
You already knew.
Yeah.
Like you knew because it's gonna play out. Like you can try, like, you know, like I think one time I had a situation where I didn't fire a guy, right? And it worked out.
Oh, word. One time.
One time.
Okay.
And all the people that I've been like, you know what? Let me keep giving them a chance. Let me keep giving them a chance. Let me keep giving them a chance. And
That
all those
sounds like
times,
me,
right?
yeah.
All those times, it ended up being what I thought it was in the
First
beginning.
time.
One guy.
So that tells you right there.
One guy.
Enough. Okay.
Right? And I still remember the circumstances, his name, everything. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, under normal circumstances, I would have fired that guy. I don't know why I gave him a chance. And the guy ended up around forever and, you know, making a lot of money and doing his thing and you know, and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, like the great thing about, I want to ask you, one of my last few questions is about diversification. With you, you know, you said you started a restaurant business, a hotel business, you know, you did a lot of things. How important is it for the young audience out there to see that, you know, you need to make sure you have your money in different places? And to kind of ask another question, do you think they should start out the gate in multiple places or master one thing and then go to the others?
Yeah. So I'm glad the way you phrase that, because some people think, right, I want to be a mogul, I want to do all these things. And so the one thing that I said is I like to blow life into a business, right, and let us do its thing. So, and I'm not going to go on and do anything else until I've blown life into that business. I mean, I have leadership in place. So there's 3 parts of a business, right? There's the delivery. There's the sales and marketing, right? Everybody knows what that is. You know, the promises that you make, the messages that you get to get the business. Then there's delivery. How do you deliver on that promise, right? And then there's the operations, all that stuff around it, right? Like how do you pay the bills and how do you do the legal contracts and all that other stuff, right? Those are the big 3 circles, right? And for me, I have to have leadership in those areas and have those things working well before I'm gonna start something else, right? And working without me.
Word, working without you.
That's
the biggest thing.
Right,
Okay.
Working with my vision, but not with me in operating. That's what I mean. I don't want to be an operator. So for me, I look at businesses that way, and I make sure all 3 of those are being taken care of before I can go off and do something else. Because if you don't, then you're just gonna, you know, be back all the time, right? So I think it's more important to build one business that's really successful and printing money, right, than it is to build a whole bunch of different businesses. And thinking about that, right? Because I think even with me, in some cases, if I was doubled down on just a tech thing, I could have made it even bigger. I just didn't care to.
At that point.
Right? One, I didn't care to because it was like, the limitations of what I was willing to give and do. Because I didn't want to suit up and go to another office. I've been in Liberty Mutual, John Hancock, Washington Mutual, Coca-Cola, Exxon, Shell. You know, I've been in TJ Maxx, you know, TJX. You know, I've been in, you know, all of these companies, right? I didn't, IBM, Price Waterhouse, Booz Allen. I didn't want to go to another company in a suit, you know, and do that whole, you know, you know, listen to me and I'm great kind of stuff. And my team is great and we can solve your problems and have to prove to them that we can solve their problems and all that sort of stuff. I just didn't want to do that anymore. And I didn't want to be involved in the conversations around that. And I didn't want to solve the same problems I was solving. And I didn't have the creativity to diversify that business and the interest. So I knew that there was only a certain size that I would be able to take that business to, right? Other people might be able to take that business to a whole nother level, but for me, I knew where it could get to. So that's why I started then the construction business and the other businesses, because at the end of the day, I love starting stuff and growing stuff.
So my last question is, so I'm glad you made that point on mastering something and going something else, because if I wanted to do a million different things, it wouldn't work. With me, like I got great at day trading, and then I was able to use that to leverage to teach others, to go on YouTube and teach for free what YouTube pays me, and then make merch off of it. But it started with day trading. After you master, your one thing and you feel good at it, how do you know when it's time to move on and start something else in your mind?
Well, for me, those three things, right? Making sure that can this business run on its own, and with my leadership, and what does that leadership look like in this, right? And am I comfortable with that? Do I have people in place that I can trust? And when I sold my business, I had, a couple of people probably making about $1 million, a little over $1 million a year in that business. Some other people making in the high, six figures, right? In terms of a number of people making in the high six figures. So in order to get there, those people had to help me do that, right? But for me, right, I think if you're planning to exit the business, I think you have to exit the business sooner than you probably think.
Sooner than when you are dragging on.
Yeah, because you're thinking, I want to exit the business when all the stuff is perfect. And it's cool to have some metrics, right? But in general, be prepared to exit sooner than you think. Be prepared to put it on the market sooner than you would think.
So you just said something that made me want to ask one more question. We had talked about it for your channel as well. In your opinion, how is perspective changing a bad thing? Like when we talked about, how for me, when I was a little kid, I thought $1 million was the biggest thing in the world, and now $1 million is not that much money, in my opinion.
I just bought 2 cars.
It's not.
I just bought 2 cars. It's 1.3.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound arrogant. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, but like I said, like when when you're making millions, it's like, do you get excited when you hit another? I mean, you get excited, but like, is perspective changing a bad thing where like you go from, all right, $1 million is the biggest thing in the world, to now it's not that much money, to, all right, like for me, it was like, I want to get this car, this Tesla, or this penthouse, and then I get there and it's like, all right, it's great, but I'm already looking at, we're in a huge mansion in Beverly Hills right now. I'm already looking to get a mansion right now, you know what I mean? Like, and for me, I feel like perspective may be detrimental where I don't ever
satisfied?
Sit in the moment. I'm never satisfied. I'm always like, what's next?
I think it's important to enjoy, take some time to enjoy what you're doing.
So it's bad.
But no. I think it's important to enjoy the things that you're doing, but not get stuck there. We're not that kind of people.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm also already looking down the road, right?
Okay.
Way down the road. So I think, like for me, like you see things, like I always go to car events and stuff, right? And for me, like you ask me how many cars I got, I don't know.
You don't even know.
I don't want to count, I don't want to, you know what I mean? I just don't want to have it in my head. But like I'll go meet people and they'll be like this last week I was at an event and this guy had a garage with 25 cars, and this other guy had a garage with 14 or 15 or 16 or 18 cars, Another guy bought a dealership because he liked cars so much. Oh, wow.
It's a little different, Austin Brandon. I don't know about that.
He bought a dealership because he liked cars so much, right?
Yeah.
And then he has all the cars that he wants and does some things. And I'm like, dude, why'd you buy that? It's a 4% margin business, 3%, 4% margin business. I love cars, right? So your perspective changes, and I think it's good that your perspective changes, and it's always changing, because I think one of the most powerful things that people want to achieve is growth. We always want to be making progress.
Yeah.
If you and your wife's relationship was not doing anything, it could be good the way it is right now, but nothing changed. All of a sudden you'd be like, damn, things ain't so cool.
Yeah.
Because you're not growing. You're not experiencing things. So I think one of our great human desires is to be growing, right? So for people like us, we're always looking out at the next thing. So that's why when you say, let me just get a little $2 million place here and settle, and I can,
like in Texas or something like
that.
Yeah,
like in Texas, you could do that, but you'll be so you can get stagnant. Now, if you find ways to not become stagnant and to continue to grow, right, it's different, right? But because that's what we have to do. And so for entrepreneurs, it's how do we build more faster? How do we help more people? How do we get our message out, more clearly? So those are the things that's important for entrepreneurs, right? And as humans and as type A personalities and as successful people and overachievers, the whole thing is, how do I make progress? If you to stay right where you are now and you're making what you make now, you're highly, highly, highly successful. But you would be miserable 5 years from now. If that's all you did, you don't do it anymore. You'd be like, oh my God, man, we're not growing. This is horrible. So that's who we are.
So basically what you're saying is the Tesla isn't cutting it. I need a Bentley truck.
Oh, hell no. The Tesla is on some bullshit. The Tesla is on some bullshit.
He's been ragging on me this entire time for having the Tesla Model X. I'm like, yo, I paid $100,000 cash for it. He's like, all right, like you need a Bentley. What's next? What's going on? So I'm like, all right. So apparently I got to get a Lambo Swag Academy or a
Bentley. I think you're a Bentley convertible kind of guy,
Bentley
man.
convertible.
Or you have the Tesla, which is the utility vehicle. It's useful.
You didn't call it.
It is. It's just useful. It's like a big Prius, right? So it's very useful. You cannot the only thing that you can't really knock a Tesla. Except if you sit out here on Ventura, you're going to see about 20 of them go by, and there are 3 different colors: black, white. Right? So I mean, it's like not a whole lot of personality for you. I mean, you're Swaggy C.
Oh my God, here you go.
Come on, man. So a Bentley convertible, I think that's your move.
Oh man. Appreciate you for popping on the channel. Guys, if you have not subscribed to him, it's at TJ Millionaire Mentor. Real quick, how important is it to pour into the people working for you?
Oh my God.
The last question.
You got to, because that's the only way you can't do what you do without them.
Yeah.
Right? So, and
making sure they're straight.
If you're not pouring into them, why are they doing this? If you're not building a path forward for them, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
If they don't know that you care about them and their families and their dreams, why are they doing this?
Just give them a paycheck or whatever.
Yeah, and they can get that anywhere.
Word.
So you got to do that. And once that stops happening, they ain't gonna be happy. They're gonna be like, you cool, bro, but I gotta go do something else, And so that's super important.
Yeah, I make sure, as a closing remark, I make sure that the team is taken care of. And Austin and Brandon aren't going anywhere, but sometimes I find myself with other people like, damn, are they getting paid too much? You know what I mean? Because like the lowest person on my team probably gets paid like $6,000 a month. Like the lowest person. That's the assistant. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm thinking like, damn, is that too much? But like they do like the best job ever because they're motivated, because I care, and they get like they get a good check and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as you're getting what you need from it. What I found is sometimes you can overpay someone and they're doing so much that if they left, you'd have to break their job down into two different jobs, right? As an example, and those 2 different people might do a better job than that one person, because it's more focused. But it's also who you like and who you want to work with and who you want to help and who believes in you and who you believe in. For me, that's super important, especially in the type of business that we have. People come to where you live to work, right? And they hang out with you, and you want to have that good energy, So,
guys, follow him. He has all the answers and all the advice in the world. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you head over to TJ Millionaire Mentor's YouTube channel and subscribe as well. He is doing a phenomenal job, and especially if you're a car enthusiast, you'll find a lot of happiness with his channel. I'll holler at you guys, man.
Of course.
Definitely. Probably see you in a day or two, whenever it goes on, but holla at me, bro. Definitely appreciate it.